What's up, guys, and welcome back. We are at the park. We took the girls out here because, well, today's the first day that the smoke hasn't been bad. The air quality actually is pretty good right now, and I am talking about the fires in LA. Fortunately, we're in Orange County, so we're a good distance away from LA, but I do know that area very well. I grew up in West LA and used to go surfing right off of Sunset and PCH all the time, and that's kind of where those Palisades fires started, right in that area. It's really sad to see. There has been so much loss all around, just landmarks and homes and loss of life. It's really terrible. We want to do something to try to help, and to do that, we're going to be donating all the money we make off of selling some very, very unique items that I think you guys may have some interest in. We're gonna talk about that later in the video, but right now we're gonna let the girls play at the park for a little bit, and then we're gonna head over to Spear America and we're gonna pick up some spearfishing gear. We're gonna be in LA or in Southern California for another maybe 3 weeks, a month, I'm not sure exactly yet, but then we're gonna go back to Trinidad and we're gonna be on the boat full time. With that happening, I want to get some spearfishing gear, I want to get some fishing gear, and just be really dialed in, so when we get back we can hit the water swimming and catch some fish. Dude, like, let's get started on this catch and cook kind of adventure. So I'm really excited about that, but I really don't know where to start. So we're gonna head over to Spear America and talk to an expert and hopefully get some guidance on what type of equipment we need to make this all happen. All right, well, we are at Spear America now, and as you can see, they have the walls lined with all types of different gear. And like I said before, I don't know where to start. There's so many different options with fins, with masks, and obviously with the spear guns. So I am going to ask an expert and have him help me out a bit and guide me in the right direction and see what type of gear do we need to buy. All right, Max, so where do we start? What type of gear do we absolutely have to have?
One of the biggest things for me will always be long fins. So the difference between snorkeling fins and scuba fins and these freediving long fins is huge.
Yeah.
You feel it massively in the way your body moves in the water. You're creating much more energy with less energy input. I think you said you already have some plastic ones, which is a good place to start. But just the amount of energy return you get from, you know, some of these crazy carbon fiber ones.
Yeah. So it's basically, it's all about expending the least amount of energy while you're in the water, so you can stay underwater for longer.
Yeah.
So making everything just really efficient.
Yeah. You want efficiency of motion to keep your cardio low. As little energy in, as much energy out. And the best way to do that is carbon.
Okay, that makes sense. And then as far as like the length of the fins go, the longer usually the more efficient they're gonna be?
Yeah, some have, there's also different stiffnesses, right? So it's also just dealing with how big of a leg you have, what your standard cardio place is gonna be. So for someone who's smaller, maybe a little less experienced swimming, they put them in a less stiff blade.
Yeah.
That way, the amount of energy they have to put in to go back and forth with the leg isn't just immediately creating lactic buildup or getting them tired.
Yeah.
But they're still getting a ton of energy return.
Got it.
Somebody who's bigger, big quads, big thighs.
Yeah.
You put them in a stiff blade and they can move 1,000,000 miles a minute.
That makes a lot of sense. So it really depends on like how much power you have and are comfortable with exerting. If you work out all the time, then you probably are used to it. And then obviously if you dive a lot, you're going to be used to having that, you know, breath hold. But yeah, I think we will have something that's more of a beginner type of fin. That sounds good to me. So next up, a mask. So I have like a basic mask. But there's so many different styles, right? There's the ones with the full lens, and then there's different shape lenses. Do they really make any difference? Like, is more pressure?
Yeah, so we have low volume masks is the specific freediving mask.
Yeah.
We have more masks with much better conformation to the face. But the key for freediving is something that's low volume. So with low volume, you're not going to have as much pressure on your eyes as you go down. You're not going to have to equalize that air as much. So that's when you start to see this stuff like this one, which just completely bends around the head.
Yeah.
And it's very close to the face.
Very form-fitting.
Funnily enough, some people think that, you know, when you get these big frameless ones, you'll have a wider field of view. But this is so far away from the face that this lens has the same field of view as this lens. Just because this one sits farther away from the face and this one's closer to the face with smaller lenses. At the end of the day, what matters the most is whether or not it's going to fit and not leak.
Yep.
So that's when the fitting comes in. Just not sucking in with your nose, placing it on your face, pushing down, and making sure that lining is touching all the way around.
All right, well, I will try on one of these many masks here and try to find something that that fits. We do have masks right now, and they're decent, but mine does leak quite a bit, and I don't know if that's a gap down here or if it's also because a lot of times I have some stubble growing and that will let in some water and some air. So I will try some of these on and see if I can't find something that fits a bit better. I feel like that's for somebody with a flatter face. Well, I think this one fits the best so far, but it doesn't have a mount for a GoPro, which I kind of want to have so I can get some of those cool underwater shots. So let me try some other ones on. I think they actually do make an adapter to where you can put it onto the mask also, so I'll have to look into that. So there's like a million different types of spear guns.
Yeah, so this wall goes from everything from flatfish on the bottom, 2 feet in front of you, to tuna. For people just starting out, 90 centimeters is a good place for us to recommend for Southern California.
Yep.
Generally, that's true of
Yeah.
all around the world too.
What is a good starting point? Like what's a decent gun that's going to last a while, but also isn't the most expensive gun out there? Obviously, I know there's some pretty killer like carbon fiber guns over here that are probably very stiff and very lightweight and nice, but I was watching some videos and guys actually like the wooden ones because of the recoil. Having that extra weight just kind of like dampens the recoil. But that's obviously when you have a lot more power behind it, right? Where you get
Yes and no. It's good to have that anyway. Dampening that recoil will also inherently stop you from losing energy in the shaft as it's going out of the gun.
Oh, got it. Okay.
You can do that with your arm, but it's better to have it done in the gun as well.
Yeah.
So, like I said, with the starting off at 90, in the wood realm, the Riffe Hero 90 open track is going to be where you start.
Okay.
This is a great gun for Southern California. We can set you up with a reel or a float line, and it'd be a great gun to travel with too. I mean, it's not too big, right?
Yeah.
Price point, not small price point, but it's still pretty decent.
Yeah.
Especially by comparison to some of the larger guns and some of the more
So
complicated carbon fiber
what
rigs.
does that one run?
Around $650.
Okay.
Now, if the price point matters more, then we're talking stuff like the Pathos Laser or the Spear Pro Challenger. Those are in the $250, $300 range.
Yeah.
They're called tube guns.
Yep.
Both great.
Yeah, I think we'll probably start with something less expensive. We spent a lot of money on our boat. So
Good place to spend a lot of money.
yeah, we bought the boat. Now we have a bit of a budget constraint now with all the rest of the gear, but we want to make sure that we buy something that's good quality, that's going to last a while. But if we buy it now and we keep it and we buy another gun later, then we have a backup gun or something like that, or maybe we buy a bigger one for bigger fish at that point. But I think for now we'll try to keep the budget reasonable.
There's a gun cheaper than this.
Uh-huh.
I would recommend this though.
Okay.
The Picasso 90, you're going to save like 60, 70 bucks, I think.
Yep.
But this is just a better gun.
Yeah.
I'll rig it up with mono for you.
Okay.
So that the shaft is attached to the gun. It comes with one band. I'd recommend getting a second too.
Yep.
Outside of that, probably putting a reel on it. Probably the Meandros reel with the Meandros GoPro mount's the way to go. It's a little much for starting out, but it
Yeah.
means you won't have to upgrade it later. So this gun will be ready to shoot a bigger fish and let that fish run and die without you losing your gun
Yeah.
or getting pulled, go water skiing over the surface as
Yeah.
the fish is still alive running away from you.
Yep. And I do want to get a float also, because one for safety, right? Because boats coming by, being able to see that there is something in the water.
Yep.
But also, if you do catch a fish and it's running and you have something that you hook it to, right? You can hook it onto the float.
It's already attached.
It's already attached. It's looped through basically.
Yeah, until you're shooting tuna, things don't change much. But yeah, so generally, this gun can function pretty well with just a reel. Having a float and a float line attached to it is also great.
Yeah.
The float line attaches to here at the back of the gun.
Okay.
Float line literally floats, so it's going to be running behind you on the surface of the water.
Yeah.
And at the end of that line will be some type of float. The ones that you should go with for safety are not exactly the same as the ones that you'd be using to fight a fish.
Yep.
They'll do that job, but the fact that you have a reel and a float line is what will do that job for you the most.
Okay.
So like the ones that I would recommend for safety are going to be one of these two. This one comes with the flag.
Yep.
So,
Okay.
yeah, so
Awesome.
the flag
And
is here.
they're all inflatable, so they're easy to.
Yes, and this
Yeah.
one's personally inflatable, like with your mouth.
All right, so next up, we're going to do some dive belt safety. So we all know, but also that Aria will be safe because we're going to get her a belt also. All right, so run us through this
So this is a standard setup. This is our demonstration belt for weight belt. This has all the gear that we like to use here in Southern California. Great for elsewhere as well. But it's also set up in a way that we consider sort of the safest method for the worst case of emergencies if you were to black out underwater. Things that we've done here will help keep you hopefully alive. So in the specific instance of this belt, these weights on this side and these weights on this side will sit on your hips.
Okay.
And then this weight on the back, where the most weight is above your butt. And if you were to black out underwater, that will drag your butt down and your head up, and evaporative cooling will wake you up. A D-ring on the non-dominant for extracurriculars, whatever. And then this here is just our stringer for fish. This pops out, goes through the mouth, out the gills. So we keep our fish on our back, which is rare. Most places you can't keep your fish on you because of sharks.
I want to get a dive knife
Cool.
also. So what do you recommend?
White.
Yeah.
I know other people would disagree with me. I've lost almost this exact knife twice here in California, and then found it within a week diving the same spot.
Yeah. Yeah. You can see it.
Hunter's orange or whatever the bright orange is probably does the same, but white saved me from having to buy a not so cheap knife twice now.
Yeah.
So the more pointy, the more specific it is for just braining a fish after
Okay.
you've taken a shot and it's still alive. You don't need a 4-inch blade, right? Most of the fish brains of the fish we're shooting are pretty close to the top. You
Yep.
don't need to get that deep. And then the only other thing that's really key for me is a line cutter.
Yeah.
So I think I'm pretty
So
sure every
basically
single
some
spear pro-
serrated edge.
Oh, see they have the hook, the little hooks on them?
Okay, yeah.
Those are line cutters. So you pull the knife off, drag it against something that's pulling you down. Say a fish, like your mono's
Yeah,
wrapped around your leg, and a 30-pound fish is dragging you down. You can just slam it across, and it'll cut it.
Yeah.
This is our base setup here with the one band, our mono, with our muzzle bungee for tension. We're gonna put another band on it for you, and then we'll go through loading safety.
Okay.
And this will be the last time you ever load it on land.
Yep. Got it. So basically, the bungee is basically the power behind it. So you're going to add another one so you have more power for bigger fish.
Yep.
Yep. And then if you're going to shoot a smaller fish, you would just load one bungee.
I generally just keep both loaded.
Yeah.
Unless you're doing something very specific like hole hunting or shooting flatfish.
Okay.
Where you already know that your plan is to shoot something very close.
Yep.
But yeah, having one loaded and then seeing a big fish.
Yeah,
and
that's
being like, oh, I will load this now. No, that's not happening.
Yeah, yeah.
You want
When
to
you're-
be ready to go.
Yep.
So we have our two bands. I usually load the inside one to the inside shark fin.
Okay.
The outside one to the outside shark fin. I grab this because sometimes it's a little
Yeah.
much during the loading. So yeah, you're just coming in, one hand, and then once you get it stabilized, you're just gonna grab both. Load like that.
Yep.
And then do the second one. And now it's loaded. Over here.
Yep. Yeah, it's actually a lot of tension to pull that thing back. Takes like a lot of force
And reach.
and reach too. Barely able to reach.
Hey.
So with your gloves on, that last little bit's gonna suck a little bit.
Yeah. All right. Well, we got a lot of gear. Ashley and I both got carbon fiber fins and the foot pockets that go with them. So now they're a complete set of fins. We got Arya a dive belt. We got 2 knives. Got a D-ring and kind of a lanyard to hook fish onto your belt. And we got a spear gun, some gloves, 3 masks. How much is all of this going to cost?
$1,801.88.
So we're officially gonna love spearfishing now because we have to, because we're really invested in this new sport, and hopefully we can offset the cost of all of the fish that we would have bought with the fish that we're now going to catch by ourselves. So $2,000 worth of fish. Here we go.
What kind of fish is that?
Loaded up everything else into the truck already. We've been here for a while. We've been here for a couple hours now, but we actually learned a ton of stuff that I think is really valuable information to know when we do start diving, especially for Arya. You were listening, hopefully.
was.
Well, thanks, man. I appreciate it. And
good meeting you.
Yeah, great meeting you too. All right, well, we are back from Spear America, and after a very expensive trip, we got quite a bit of gear. So now we have, I think, everything that we need to get started. Like I was saying before, we really don't know what we need. So if you guys are into spearfishing and you see that we're missing something, let me know, because we still have some time. I can go and purchase whatever we might need. But here's what we have right now. So we've got 2 sets of fins, got some gloves, we got a weight belt, a stringer, so this will go on the belt. And basically the idea with that is once you catch a fish and you're away from the boat, you can actually string that through, so into the fish's mouth, out the gills, and then hook it back on. So you actually have like all the fish on your belt behind. Now obviously, if there's sharks around, you don't want to be carrying a bunch of fish that are bleeding right on your back. That'd be a bad idea. I don't know what it's like in the Caribbean and the Bahamas. I think there are quite a few sharks. I'm not sure how aggressive they are. I guess we're gonna find that out. We also picked up this float. We've got our masks. We've got a couple of these stainless steel dive knives. This gun from Spear America. We got this cheap one, this Cressy one here that we had purchased before. All right, well that is all of the spearfishing gear that we got. I also went to the fishing store, picked up some more lures, but I also had a lot of fishing gear from before. And Ashley's dad and her grandfather were both avid fishermen, actually tournament fishermen, and they gave us a lot of stuff. So here's the fishing gear. A lot of this stuff we already had, like I said, from Ashley's dad and her grandfather, and it's probably not the right stuff. So if you guys know about fishing, let me know what we should have, what we don't need to bring, what's completely irrelevant to what we're doing. Here it is. We've got a ton of reels. So some of these are pretty good. And obviously this is a bigger one, bigger fish. I don't know. Like I said, I really don't know. So it's a lot. We have a few other fishing rods that we've already brought to the boat. And then we have a ton more, not even just these, but there's a lot more that we have. Definitely not going to bring all of them. So figuring out what we need to bring is going to be important so we can pack that stuff up and ship it over to our boat. Now this is the stuff that I just picked up from the local fishing store, and I'm hoping to catch some big fish out there in the Caribbean and Bahamas and wherever else we might go. So I picked up some big poppers, some like trolling lures, casting lure. This squid one here is pretty cool. We actually caught a fish with a smaller one of these in Trinidad, and that one is another like trolling sinking lure. We've got some fillet knives, some more lures, some weights, and some other hooks and stuff like that. Leader line, some crimpers. So we got some steel leader line, because obviously if you're catching a fish that has big teeth, it's just going to bite through your line. So you'll build some steel leader lines, and hopefully they can't chew through that. And we also got some camera gear and electronics. Let me show you guys that. All right, camera gear. We have some GoPros. We've got a microphone. We have the DJI Air 2S. That's gonna be super useful for not only getting really cool shots to you guys, but I've seen some other creators use it to actually fly out from where they are on their boat and go exploring places to figure out where the best fishing spots are, where the activity is. And I mean, that just seems like a very useful tool. So we might even buy another drone so we have a backup just in case we lose that one. And then we got a DJI Pocket 3 camera. We got the DJI microphones. I got a new MacBook Pro because all of this stuff, it, 4K video, trying to get all this footage, I'm gonna need a laptop to get all that stuff processed quickly. So we picked up that. And to make all of this work, we need a way to get our footage uploaded to YouTube. How do we do that? Well, thanks to Elon, we got Starlink. We got a Starlink Mini. This thing is pretty crazy how small and simple it is. And that's going to actually allow us to upload all the videos while we're just sitting on the boat, no matter where we are. We have a Sony FX30. We've got a couple different lenses for that, a Rode microphone. This is really special, and this is thanks to all of you who watched and obviously subscribed. This is for you guys. That's right. That is our 100,000 subscriber YouTube silver play button. And honestly, this channel has grown so fast, so quickly. It's kind of blown my mind, but thank you guys for all the support and I'm looking forward to continuing this and just growing, learning from the comments. Obviously, you guys have a lot of things to say, positive things, very few negative things, but we read as many comments as we possibly can. We want to know what you guys want to see so we can try to bring that to you. And with all of our new video gear, once we get really comfortable using all that stuff, I hope we can bring you some really cool cinematic scenes from sailing and all these different islands and diving and snorkeling and spearfishing and all that kind of stuff. So obviously, stay tuned for that. This is just the beginning. We spent a bunch of money getting all this stuff, but it's for a good purpose. It's so we can continue growing and elevating our channel. Now, I had mentioned that we are going to be selling some stuff. All of those proceeds are going to go to help these fire victims in the LA fires. Well, let me show you guys what that is. All right, guys, so what are we gonna be selling? Well, I am going to sell all of my Formula Drift trophies. We're gonna put these up on eBay, and everything that we make off of selling the trophies and some other stuff I'm going to show you in a minute, we're going to donate all of it to Convoy of Hope. This organization is helping directly with the LA fires right now. They're on the ground, they're passing out hygiene kits and water and medical supplies, and just directly helping everyone that's in that area that has lost something. So we wanted to figure out a way where we could donate some money to help, and I figured, you know what, these trophies, I don't need them anymore. I'm not gonna take them with me on the boat. And this is a way for you guys to get a very, very unique piece of my history, and that is these trophies. We only have one of each of the trophies that I've earned. I'm gonna keep my championship trophy, and I'm gonna keep my first win trophy. But other than that, all of them, they're gonna be up for sale. So I'm also going to sell all of my Formula Drift race suits. So all of these are going to be up for sale on eBay as well. I'm gonna put that link down in the description. You guys have a chance to own one of my race suits. I had one almost every single year, and yeah, they're all unique. They're all obviously special. They have history, and yeah, like I said, getting rid of this stuff, to me, it makes a big difference, I hope, to the people who have been affected by these fires by being able to sell some of this stuff. Give you guys an opportunity to be involved in a way, helping out as well, because like I said, all of the money from all of the stuff that we're selling is going to go directly to help the people that have been affected by the LA wildfires. All right, well, thank you guys again for watching, and thank you to whoever buys one of the trophies or one of the race suits. Like I said, all of the proceeds are going to go to directly help the people that have been affected by the LA fire. So thank you guys for watching again, and we will see you next week. See you then.